Hi everyone, it's Penny here on the final day of the 12 days of coaching. I am so glad to be back again. Last week we had a little glitch at the end of our 12 days of coaching because my stomach was not too happy. But I am back, I'm feeling great, and I am really excited to recap the whole 12 days with you. And when I say recap, I literally mean recap. I'm going to pick up all the caps, the caps that I've had for Chris. Hey Glenn, glad to have you here. Yes, so we're going to go over all the tips, and Jason is here. Hey Jason, it's party time, so I had to wear my tuxedo because this is a very, very exciting night. And I have to say, I'm feeling so much better. It's amazing to me. And Gilbert's here. Gilbert, I have a bow tie. Gilbert loves to wear bow ties. So anyway, what we're going to do right now is we're going to recap all the tips that we did before, and then we're going to finish up with our final tip of the night. So to start with, I've got this table of hats. And notes. So as you may recall, on the first day of coaching, my coach whispered to me, and Christine is here. Hey. And Retta is here. Hey, Retta, it's really great to see you. So on the first day of coaching, does anyone remember what we talked about on the first day that was so long ago? That was way back, like on December 4th. But it was this one. It was find yourself a great community. And I have to say, I have found the greatest community with all of you. It's been really fun. Even though it's been a little intense, it's been really fun having you all show up and then sharing these tips with you, and then you've been sharing your great ideas and your feedback. So I really appreciate you being here. So the first day and the first hat, to recap, was find yourself a great community. So if you like that one, please send some hearts around or thumbs up or whatever. If that one, you can vote. This could be like, one of those shows where you get to vote for the winner. So we can see which one gets the most hearts across. How would that be? And maybe there might even be some prizes. So if you like this one, find yourself a great community, send some things across. Okay, so that was day one. All right, next up, oh wait, yeah. We had some mistletoe next. And so what we had for the mistletoe was start where you are. So we talked about how sometimes you can be a little bit messy, or I know, but your life can look a little bit messy, and you think, oh my gosh, I have to get it together before I can start coaching. And that's just silly, because that's what coaching helps you do. It helps you figure out where to start, how to pull it together, where we start moving from there. So that was number 2. So if number 2, start where you are, bless your mess, the whole thing. If you like that one, send some thumbs up across, and you can vote for number 2, mistletoe, start where you are. The next one, oh my goodness, we had this incredible one here. So this one was called Start Small or You May Not Start at All. So did anybody like this one? Did anybody relate to this one? Like you felt like you somehow had to have it all figured out before you could even start doing anything. This coaching tip is just take the smallest possible movement that you can in the direction of your goal. You like that one? Okay, so start small. So far, it looks like this one could possibly be the leader. Okay, so then after that one, we had this one. And this one was start before you're ready. This was on the 4th day of coaching. My coach whispered to me, start before you're ready. So what this one essentially says is, like, if we think that we're going to just wait and do something when we're completely ready, we'll never get it done. I mean, that's what most of us said about this, is that it's just... And the crazy thing about that is if you wait until you think you have it all figured out, you're going to miss all these things that you didn't have figured out. And as soon as you start, you're going to need to course correct. So this one was a really big one, start before you're ready, and let that goal pull you forward and help you figure out your next move or your next step. Okay, so that one was number 4, start before you're ready. Okay, the next one we had on the 5th day of coaching, my coach whispered to me, follow your fascination, sweet pea. So what this idea was about is that you need to just stay open and stay curious, because whenever you get to that point where you think, oh, I've been there, done that, and you know it all, then what happens there is then you're just not open to what's really going on and what you're learning. The thing is, each time you experience something, even though you might have heard it before, you've never been who you are in this moment. So you might hear it differently, see it, sense it somehow. So this one, on the 5th day coaching, my coaching whispered to me, follow your fascination. So that one is to stay open, stay curious. Okay? So, on the 6th day of coaching, oh yeah, this one lights up, but I don't really know if I could. And Morgan's here. Hey Morgan, we're recapping all the days of coaching. Hey, did everybody have a good Christmas? I didn't even talk to you about that. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm so excited. Hey, Todd, it's nice to have you here. So we're just going over our 12 days of coaching. And just as I put this Christmas hat on, I just thought I maybe better see how your Christmas went. I hope everybody got what they wanted, and I got what I wanted, which was really just some peace and quiet, because I wasn't feeling so good, but I'm feeling great tonight. So on the 6th day of coaching, we're just recapping all of the tips. So on the 6th day of coaching, we talked about squelching the skeptic. And again, we were just thinking that if we've done this, we just want to, I think I maybe said that tip, yeah, that it's really easy when we get scared or we start to do something that we're uncomfortable with to get really saying, oh yeah, this isn't going to work. Just, there's a time for that, but it's not when you're starting something new. Give yourself as much support as you can. And if you followed step number 1 and you found yourself a supportive community, they're not going to let you trash talk yourself. So, squelch the skeptic, sweetie. That was the 6th day of coaching. If you like that one, don't forget to vote for it by sending your thumbs across. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Gilbert. You're on it. Okay. And yeah, we like those. So now I don't know if I can get this turned off. But anyway, so that was the 6th day. So the 7th day, we had the Pippi Longstocking situation. Don't get your tinsel in a tangle. So what we were talking about again is that, the big thing with coaching is that we're trying to get you out of your comfort zone, out of your way of habitually doing things, and into like your creativity zone and your contribution zone, and that place where you're not going to feel really competent all the time. There we go. Gosh, I've got to get used to this Pippi Longstocking situation. So yeah, it's really easy when you feel like you don't know what you're doing to get really uptight and say, oh my gosh, I'm messing this up. I'm not doing. Oh, your favorite hat. Oh yeah, this one is so nice, Retta, because it's also a scarf. And when it's 5 degrees outside like it is today, you need as many layers and scarves and things as you can possibly get. I know I went out 3 times today, and my dogs really needed to run around, but it was nice and sunny and it wasn't too windy, so I kind of liked it. I put my snow pants on. I totally decked out, but it's very cold. So yeah. If you like this tip or you like this hat, yeah, you can put that on. So that one was don't get your tinsel in a tangle. Now, if any of you have some other interpretations of these, if you took notes during our time and you thought about it and there's something you want to add, please feel free to just write it in the comments below, because I'd love to hear from you. Although I'm sitting a little bit farther away so that I have access to all my hats here. So that means I have to look really far at the camera to see your messages, but I promise I will respond to them. So that was day number 7, tip number 7. Okay, so the next one, yeah, my hair's gonna look really great by the time. The next one on the 8th day of coaching, my coach whispered to me, don't rely on your memory. So what we were talking about on that day is that in coaching, you take these you make micro movements and you move a little bit, but every time you do something, I just think we really need to celebrate, because it's so easy to forget how far you've come. As soon as you master something, there's so many more things. Like the way I look at it, Gilbert had forgotten. Yeah. So the thing is, there's just so many more things to master. Like when I look at trying to do this technology learning curve, there's way more things on this side of it that I don't know than what I do know. But oh my goodness, today I figured out about 3 things that have been bugging me for so long, and it was so exciting to me. And then I just did a little happy dance I put on my snow pants actually, and I went outside with the dogs for a little bit, because that was my reward for figuring out all this stuff in my head, is to go outside and be outside, even though it's 5 or 1, I don't know, it's very cold out there. But anyway, yeah, don't rely on your memory. So make sure you're keeping a journal of your progress. Make sure you're sketching. Make sure you're doing something just to remember how far that you're coming when you're working on any goal. So that's that tip. That was tip number 8. Okay, are you ready for tip number 9? I mean, we are just sailing through these tips tonight, and remember, each of these had their own day and their own discussion, but I'm just recapping them for you because, you might have heard them before, but isn't it funny? You have a little Christmas, you forget everything that you learned before Christmas, so that's why we're recapping tonight, and it worked out pretty good that we could come back after Christmas and remember all of these things. So that was tip number 8. So now, on to tip number 9. On the 9th day of coaching, my coach whispered to me, I think Miss Retta, you might remember this one. It's all about strategy. Maybe Jason, you might remember this one too, because you guys were both my guests on this night. So we talked about how important it is to have a strategy, because Mama told me there'd be days like this. You're going to have those days, those bad days, when things are just not going to go the way that you had hoped. But if you have a strategy for it, you can get through it. So it always cracks me up. Hey, Lori, it's nice to have you here. So here's, it just seems like so funny. Like anytime you're going to start a diet, I swear to God, every time that you go into the office, then somebody brings donuts, or somebody's birthday and they're bringing a cake or something like that. It's just like a test. So if you have a strategy in place and you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to handle the things that will come up to test me. So it's always great to have a strategy. So that was tip number 9 on the 9th day of coaching. So if you like that one, you can give me a thumbs up. You can send those hearts across. Or if you're really into the reindeer hat, this one is so soft. I really like this one too. So yes, sorry, I've gotten a little excited about my antlers here. Okay, so that was day number 9. Day number 10. Oh yeah. This one was don't quit, recommit, cowboy, cowgirl, whatever. So this was really a fun one. Do you remember when we talked about the upper limits Pam's here. Hello, Pam. It's good to see you. We're just recapping the 12 days of coaching. And each day I had a different hat on. So I'm not only recapping the tips, but also the caps. So on the 10th day of coaching, my coach whispered to me, don't quit, recommit. So what we talked about is that idea of how good can we stand it? Are we always going to think that if we do well in one area, then do we sabotage ourselves in another area? So if we're doing really well in our career, maybe we mess up in our relationship. So if we're doing really great in the love area, maybe we're messing up with our money. Or if we have a total financial meltdown, then or we have a total financial breakthrough, wouldn't that be something? Then maybe we mess up somewhere else. So remember that one. So if you like that one, because that one, you know, it's just something that we don't always talk about. I think we all know what it's about. Then we also talked about that idea of a creative U-turn, that we get really close to almost reaching our goal, and then we think, I can't do it anymore. And then we give up just when it's around the corner because we don't see that we're that close. I mean, there is a time to give up when you're on a sinking ship, but yeah, you don't think, oh yeah. So, but sometimes there's just a time to, you know, let's do this. We're almost there. Okay, so that was day number 10. So, day number 11, as you recall, was listen to your body and move at the pace of grace. So that one was very interesting because that came to on a night that I was just not, my body said, we can't do this one anymore. But I think it's a really good reminder, and I really wanted to be able to give you all permission that, you know, it isn't a race. It isn't a competition even. We're all on our own path. I want to say dare not to compare. I think people sometimes compare their insides to other people's outsides. I've heard that before. And that's just not what we need to be doing. You are on your own path. You're going to get there in your own time. And so the main thing that you can do is really tune in to your power source and figure out how you like to move. You know, if we move too fast or if we move too slow, we're just uncomfortable. So if you can learn to move, what I call move at the pace of grace, and just allow things to unfold. I think a perfect example of that is what happened for me last week, because it was just nuts. I tried to push too hard and do too much, but having those days to just breathe and really just not eat anything for a couple of days and just, you know, no more input, just nothing coming in, just be quiet, have a silent night. That was so helpful to me and just to my creative process. And so today I did this amazing ceremony where I did like a year in review, and I'm doing this shamanic training right now with some really amazing people and learning how to do ceremonies and things like that. And so I was preparing for this ceremony that I will be presenting tomorrow, and it was just so exciting and fun just to play around and be creative with that. And I could be sharing that with you as well. So anyway, that was day Okay. Oh my goodness. That was very scary right here when we're at the final. The 12th day, the drummer's drumming and all of that. I bet you didn't see this hat coming. Yeah, I didn't really either, but I found it in my basement and I thought, wow, this is perfecto for this evening and for all of you. So on the 12th day of coaching, my coach whispered to me, yeah, I even have like a little outfit that goes with this, but I had to practice earlier because the hat is a little bit heavy. So I had to make sure that I could actually talk with my head up. So the 12th day of coaching, my coach whispered to me, actually I'm not going to whisper, I'm going to shout this one because this one is important. It is so important. I mean, any single one of these tips has the potential to change your life, but none of them will unless you do this. And are you ready? Are you ready? Here it is. It's invest in something worthy. And here's the hint. You. Invest in yourself. You are worthy. And I'm just going to tell you a little story about my journey this year. So every year around this time of year, and it's New Year's, and we like to make these resolutions, and we do all that, and mine lasts for, you know, maybe 15 minutes or something like that, and it's just so depressing, you know, like when you make these New Year's resolutions and yet you really don't even believe in them. So here's what I am going to beg you not to do this year. Do not make a single resolution that you aren't 100% committed to making happen. So there are lots of worthy things to commit to. I mean, eat less, exercise more, consume less, create more, spend less, earn more, you know, all of these things. They're very worthy, but they're not going to happen unless you commit to doing something differently, because as we all know, if you keep doing the same thing you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same thing you've got. And you know, we're just not about that. The thing about coaching is it does nudge you out of that comfort zone. And I have to say, the reason I'm so into coaching is because if you could do it by yourself, you would have done it already. You are brilliant. You are very smart. You have read all the books. You have done all the online courses. You already know it. The problem is there's something that's got you stuck or scared that isn't allowing you to move. And sometimes we can't see what that thing is because it's the thing that blindsides us. It's the thing that we can't see. Because if we could see it and if we could see it and we could do something about it, we would. I mean, I truly believe that we're all very intelligent. We're very capable. But for me, what happened last year is I joined not one, not two, but like 3 different coaching programs. But it was this 2017 has been the most amazing year of my life. I have done things this year that I have dreamed about doing my whole life. One of them was I did a retreat. I did a retreat in September, and I had 20 people come. Retta was there. Gilbert was there. Some of you were there, and it was amazing because it went in January. I decided I wanted to do this retreat. So I started way before I was ready. I invested in this program called Retreat Blueprint, and it was so expensive. It was just so expensive. And, you know, I didn't do it. And so I felt guilty for about 6 months. But finally, by July, I got myself to Silomar in California, where I actually spent a week dedicated to going through the whole program. And that changed my life. So the thing with investing is this: it's always going to be terrifying. I mean, you all know when you need to do something, it's going to cost you, but the problem is also costing you something. It's costing you a lot, and and it's hard to see because it seems like the goal, the thing that you want to do, it's like you always need to pay up front in full with no guarantees. But at some point you're going to believe, like I did with the Retreat Blueprint program, I knew that I wanted to be able to do that at some point in my future. So I invested in this belief in myself that I could do it. And once you have a little skin in the game, then it changes the game. And then the thing about tip number 1, having a great community, that also changes the game. Because when you know that you're no longer just in it by yourself, it's very different. When you've got other people depending on you, other people needing what you have to offer the group, then that changes things. So that's just one of those stories. You know, I did actually 2 other. I mean, and it's not like you invest once and you're good to go for the rest of your life. It's like you invest and you reinvest and you reinvest and you keep upping. But you know what happens is that you up level your life. And last year, I have to tell you this, on December 31st was the first time I had ever done a Facebook Live. And I was like, I was so scared about doing it, and I was terrified. But my friend Becca said, "I will do it with you." And doing that one thing that scared me so much. Now, look, this year, I don't know, I've probably done like 50 of these videos, and for a person who never even wanted to take a selfie, this is huge. So I'm just encouraging you to look at that thing that scares you and say, what if I faced it, and if I did it, how would that change my life? And of course, I'm not asking you to do this by yourself. I have some ideas for you, and I actually have some ways that we can work together if you want to. Nobody has to work with me if you don't want to. If you've said, these 12 days have really been quite enough for me, and I'm going to just think about that, that's fine. But if you want to explore some ways that we can keep this going, I have a couple of ideas for you. I have some suggestions and ways that you can work with me from as low as $25 a month to up to $200 a month, and then you can get some private coaching as well. But if you want to stay on and just do like the Facebook coaching like we're doing right now, you can do that for $25 a month. I'll bring on some other coaches and we'll do some other things like that. All of these packages are on my website. So if you go to www.wellpower.com, it'll say Midlife MacGyver, where my blog is, and then under the tab there is a section called Coaching Packages, and you can check them out. And you can pick one that works for you. The deal is, though, the packages start, the way I'm going to run this program, because it's new for me, and I also have a full-time job, so I want to keep this community going, but my time is sort of limited. So we're going to do it for 3 months at a time. Okay, so we're gonna, the first theme for the first quarter is the art of the start. So we're gonna talk all about how we start projects, how we get going, how we gain the momentum, how we gain the self-confidence, how we do all that. So that's the theme. And again, you can look at whatever package works for you, even if you even want to do a package, or you can just send me a message, or you can call me or text me, and we can talk it through and see what really makes the most sense for you. And if nothing makes sense for you that right now, that's fine too. So we'll still be I'll still be doing some content, but we're going to really do a deep dive and try to really move the needle in 2018. You know, because you're all up to great things, but even those really successful people need a coach. I mean, think of all the athletes and all of these people. None of them would think about doing what they do without a coach. So, but that doesn't mean that you have to be an athlete in order to justify having a coach. Because really, as I said before, there's a really, from the smallest limited budget to a high-end budget, we can figure something out and figure out what you need. So that's my tip for tonight, just to invest in something worthy, and that something worthy is you. And if you want to know how to do that, just contact me. Let's see, do we have any other questions? I know I've been talking a lot and I haven't really been addressing your concerns. Did we decide if we have a winner of the hats or the tips? Did anybody decide? Or maybe this one? Maybe this one is the big one? Because it's kind of wild. And yeah, so if there's any questions, if anybody wants to contact me, I've got plenty of, well, I don't have plenty of time, but this week, one of my favorite things about my full-time job is that we have this wonderful week. Hey, Judy, it's nice to see you. And so this week I have some time because we have a little break from my school job, so I'd be happy to contact you. Also on my website, on the coaching packages page, it shows you what days and times we'll be doing these Facebook Live calls. And we're also, I forgot to tell you this, we're also going to be doing Tapping Tuesdays. So we'll not only have a topic of each month, but then we'll also do some tapping. So you'll get introduced to tapping, and do not worry if you don't know what tapping is or if you've never done tapping. It doesn't matter. You can still benefit from it, and it really helps you get out of those stuck places. So that's another thing. And then our third bonus thing is that we'll have some guest coaches coming on as well. And then, of course, if you do some of the other, here, let me just tell you a little bit about the packages. You know, on day 9, we talked about sometimes you don't have to go the whole extra mile. You just have to go the extra quarter mile, right? Just to get yourself started, just to get yourself in motion. So the packages are called the quarter mile package, the half mile package, and the extra mile package. So we can talk about those more in detail if you have questions about them, but I just wanted to put that out there as an option. I mean, many times people will say, oh, this is great, but how can I do more in-depth work, because this is pretty general, and we can certainly get into the issues that you have as well. But I just want to thank you very much, all of you who've been on these calls. It's been really fun to have you here and to share these tips. And you've just been really great about sharing your hearts and sharing the things that you know. And that's a really great thing. Again, about that first tip about finding a great community is that sometimes it's not just the coach who has the answers. And actually, I'm so glad I mentioned that, because here's the thing with coaching. Coaching is not about somebody telling you what to do and then you do it. Coaching is like an infinity loop where I put something out, you give something back, I put something out, you give some, or you give something, whatever. It goes like this. So it's not, the coaching will not always be me just jabbering away at you. I'm going to ask you to do some things and to be accountable, because it's really easy for me to sit on this end and say, oh yeah, here's how your life will improve. Well, I don't know that until you take action. You don't know that until you take action. Don't take my word for it. I mean, take my coaching, but put it in action in the way that you know how to put it in action. Put it in action in a way that makes sense for you. But I think I said this maybe on one of the very first videos, that if you are just watching but you're not taking any action or you're not participating, then you're just stalking. And we don't want stalking. We don't want you stalking your own life. We want you like getting in there and getting stuff done and really seeing some results, because it's amazing to me what you can do when you have the support of a group, because suddenly it's just not you spinning in your head thinking these things of and the reasons and excuses that you may have had about why you can't do stuff. It's you talking them out with somebody, and it doesn't always have to be me. It can be somebody else in the group. Yeah, so I read that once online, that, anytime, because I used to read all these articles and I thought, oh, that's really made a big difference, but I'd never tell the people. I'd never say, wow, that blew my mind. Wow, you did it. I never thought about it that way. And then I realized that, I was kind of stalking if I wasn't contributing to the conversation. And I think that's the thing that I want to share with you all, is that you may be very aware of where you need help, but you might be ignoring those areas of genius. Like, I know Jason, Retta, Glenn, all of you, and Gilbert, you are brilliant. You have these areas, and you're maybe being kind of quiet and we don't know about them. But if you could, that would be a fantastic thing if you were all in the group, and even if you're just doing the quarter mile group, and you can tell each other, here's how I did this. But having the accountability of each other and doing this moves a lot forward. But here's the other piece. The new year is just around the corner. I kid you not. It's just right next week. So you can't dilly-dally. We only have these about a week to sign up, to figure out what you want to do here. And it's okay if you don't want to do something, but if you do, I'd really love for you to jump on it so that we can move forward, because We maybe would have had more time last week, but that was not how it went. So if you think you might want to do some kind of coaching, or if you know of somebody who might, even if it's not you, you might know a friend and say, wow, this would really work for them. Please recommend it, and we can have a conversation, and I get it if you don't want to commit to anything until you talk to me, and then we can work that through too. So whatever works for you. This is just kind of a new thing for me, and I just thought, it was fun to do this coaching, and maybe we could just take it to the next level and, kind of dig our heels in and get some work done and make 2018 amazing. And yeah, so if you sign up for some coaching, then you might get this bonus ceremony thing that I'm thinking about doing. So if you're really interested in that, let me know, and I'll make sure you know about that too, because that is super fun. That's a really great way to kind of gather all of the year, this year, 2017, in front of you and look at it and say, wow, I did all this. This was quite something. This is where I'm still working. This is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to claim for next year. Because I think you can't really move forward and say you're going to do this until you can appreciate and see how far you've come already. So I just want to leave you with this one comment, is that I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all very much. I see amazing things in you that I think sometimes you don't see. And if you ever need to be reminded, you just email me and I will tell you what those things are. Thank you so much for showing up. This has been quite a stretch for me, being on the video and doing these tips, but it's been really fun to share these things, because I always said to people, I don't want to die with my story still inside of me. I feel like I've been blessed. I've been able to learn and have a lot of experiences, and I don't want it to stop with me. I want to pass it on to whoever might be in need of it. So if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. Again, if you've enjoyed this, just send some thumbs up across. If you've got your own hat on at home, even though I can't see you, go ahead, send me some thumbs across so I know that you are at home partying like it's 1999. So there you have it. It's been a pleasure to be with you during these 12 days of coaching. And again, if there's anything else I can help you with, please let me know. If you want to keep the party going, head over to my website, www.wellpower.com. Check under there's a heading called Coaching Packages. And there are 3 packages: the quarter mile, the half mile, and the extra mile. So if one of those work for you, I'll be seeing you back here next week as we start our new coaching adventure together. All right, we'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. Bye.